So, today's kind of rough because my therapist canceled my appointment last minute for the third time with no warning or follow up or message or email or text or anything. So I'm talking in front of a camera now because I just kind of want someone to talk to, I think. I feel frustrated and I feel discouraged because I'm trying really hard to take better care of myself. Like, I've been keeping my living spaces clean and, like, dressing myself better, trying to eat healthier, be better about expressing my emotions. I take medication now for anxiety, which is really cool. And I'm trying really hard to get help and get therapy, but it's hard when I have been scheduling appointments with this therapist for 2 months now, and we've had one appointment because they keep getting canceled. And okay, one of them, which was technically the fourth canceled appointment, was technically on me because they canceled an appointment and then we rescheduled and they said, how about 10 o'clock? And I thought they were talking about my time period, my time zone and not their time zone, but it turns out they were talking about their time zone, which I think is an understandable mistake on both of our behalfs. However, my girlfriend did say that when they scheduled that appointment, they should have been referring to it in my time zone because I'm the client, and it shouldn't be my job to do the time zone mental math, which I think is also kind of a valid stance. But the other 3 times have been last minute, within 20 minutes before or 20 minutes after my start time with my, yeah. And that's hard because I'm seeing a therapist for anxiety. And the fact that this has happened several times with the same person, I'm starting to feel like they personally don't like me, which I know isn't true, but it's still hard because it's a thing that I know is not true, but it's a thing that I feel. And that's still hard because it hurts. And it's also hard because I personally like the therapist. The one appointment we've had, we vibed really well. And I felt very understood and listened to, and I liked their very kind of humorous approach to a lot of things. I found it very relatable and helpful. So I'm gonna try to give it one more go. I'm gonna try to schedule with them one more time, and if this happens again, I just have to find someone new. Because it's nothing against them personally. I think they're great. But I feel like it's really not professional that this keeps happening. And I'm trying really hard to take better care of myself. I have put aside my own mental health and my own emotional well-being for years. This is kind of really the first time I've ever tried to put myself first in any way. I have a several years long habit of defining myself by my relationships and the things I do for others. I've got that crazy, like, eldest daughter syndrome, and I'm trying really hard to take care of myself. I want to be a better person for me and for the people around me and the people that I love. And I deserve that. And I gotta look out for me. And that's hard, you know, that's hard because I don't like doing stuff like that, you know, like I even now I feel like I'm being kind of entitled because I'm upset that my therapist canceled 3 times without warning. Because that's just how my brain works. That's how my emotions, that's how I've programmed my emotions to work after many, many years of just very specific behaviors. And I'm trying to work around that. So I have a free phone consultation scheduled with another therapist for next Monday, and I'm going to see where that goes. And then I'm also going to try to reschedule one more time with my actual therapist, probably tomorrow, because I'm just kind of feeling frustrated right now. But also, if they don't send me a follow-up message or anything in the next, like, 24 hours, that's also going to say a lot. Because I feel like canceling an appointment without saying anything is like when you're the professional in that situation, you know? It's... I don't know if this is normal. I've never really had a therapist before. But I don't think that's good. So we'll see. But yeah, I just feel a little frustrated is all. I'm doing my best. And it'll be okay, but it sucks right now, which is the important part. How do you tell when a lemon's gone bad? gonna hang out with me while I fold laundry. This is like half of the laundry I do, and you know, that's okay, because I live with 3 other adults, so it's kind of normal. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't really mind it, you know? I kind of like it when I'm not like in a rush. I like laundry because it's something I kind of get like a good sense of like accomplishment and like, I don't know, gratification from. Kind of like vacuuming, where like when you start doing it you can like immediately see your progress. So it's really satisfying to me in that way. Today's been pretty good. I tidied up my office because I try to do it every Monday, but I didn't have time yesterday because I had my TTRPG that I really love, and I had a doctor's appointment, like check-in, and I had to run some errands, and then I made dinner. And I was also cleaning. So I did some tidying up for my own stuff, my own office today. And I also I had some friends over. I made lobster rolls for lunch. And they turned out really good. I use Kerrygold garlic and herb butter. And it came out, let's see, I've made lobster rolls like 2 or 3 times now. And I think this was like the best they've ever come out. Was take number 4. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. We watched the director's cut of Doctor Sleep, directed by Mike Flanagan, which is about 3 hours long, and I had a really nice time. It's a really good movie. And then, I mean, there's some stuff about Romani people in there that I'm not crazy about. But I think that's a product of Stephen King's writings. But I really liked it a lot. And then after that, my girlfriend Jazz made dinner, and we had chicken parm sandwiches. So today was a very sandwich-filled day for me, but I am not complaining because I really like sandwiches. The only thing is, I can sense that I'm getting a little bit of like anxiety paralysis, because I have a couple of time sensitive things that I really need to work on. But because my day was kind of thrown off by my therapy appointment being canceled last minute, I had a really difficult time motivating myself to work after that, because my whole kind of like routine, the idea that I had of the day that I thought I would have just kind of got thrown away. And you know, I think that that's just kind of the reality of things sometimes. It's a little bit scary because as a freelance artist, there's only so much I can get help with. Like, you know, I have, like, when my wife helps me with my social media, which I'm very grateful for, and like when my partner helps me with like with packaging Patreon mail, and those are things I'm really grateful for. So those are like bases that I have covered, because I am trying to be a lot better and a lot more conscious about reaching out and asking for help when I'm overwhelmed. But the thing is that I'm the only one who can do the art, and there's a lot of art that I have to do right now. There's a lot of art that I owe clients, and that's just part of life right now. But I can feel that pressure kind of creeping in, and it's making it harder to like actually focus, which doesn't happen for me a lot. But I think like with the seasons changing and also trying to catch up on my social life, it's kind of making my work schedule a little bit more skewed. So I need to get back on that. So I'm hoping that tomorrow I will be able to focus better. I'm going to try to lock in, get it done, even if that's just, I think the hard thing is that I don't really live a life where it's possible for me to just have several uninterrupted hours of work because I have a lot of responsibilities to my household. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But like, it does mean that like my schedule can't be like my freelance friends who also live alone and are only responsible for feeding themselves in the morning, at night, and maybe sometimes taking care of a cat. Like, I have a lot more stuff in my daily life. Like, usually stuff with my house, stuff with helping others, cooking, cleaning, things of that nature. And I'm okay with that. Like, that is an agreement I am a part of. That is something I want to be in. But it also means that sometimes when I have days like this, I am working at a slower pace. And that's hard. Because I really don't like feeling like I'm not being productive. I love to be productive. I love to work. Sometimes I love to work a little too much. But I'm also trying to learn how to find a healthy balance between social life, work life, home life, and, every now and again kind of having a sliver of alone time where my time isn't owed to anything or to anyone. And that one is really hard. That one's very hard. Because mainly I've noticed, I recently realized that for many, many years, I thought that free time was just kind of something that happens when you are magically done with everything you need to do. Because I grew up in a household where we did not really get to relax until all of our work was done. And that was really hard. I understand the values that like my dad was trying to instill, but maybe when your kid is like, sitting in their bedroom having some quiet time reading a book, maybe the vibe isn't to like walk in unannounced and start discussing how dirty and filthy and like what a pigsty their bedroom is, like maybe because that kind of creates a sense of urgency that doesn't really go away. And so my whole adult life, I thought that free time was something that just magically happened for the lucky people who just are done with everything they need to do. Work, home, social life, all of that. And it turns out that free time, or personal time, is something you have to make time for. It is something you have to specifically cut out time for. And that's hard for me because I have a mentality of if I have time, I can be doing something productive. And like I said, I've been this way since I was a kid because I had to be. So this was even before like, the rise and grind influencer thing. Like this has been my life. And for some people it works, and for some people it makes them absolutely fucking miserable. And I fall somewhere in between, where I love to work, but I love to work a little too much. And if I work too much for too long without doing anything else, my brain will just go down the shitter. And, like, weeks later, I'll be like, why do I feel so insane? And then I'll be like, oh, I've been go for several weeks and haven't had any quiet alone time. Just existing by myself. Because, when you're a freelance artist and you work from home and you live with 3 other adults who also work from home, there's not really like a lot of alone time or a lot of personal time. And I do consider living with multiple people to be a blessing. I genuinely believe and I feel that it is a net positive in my life. I am incredibly grateful that I have so many people in my life who care about me and love me, and that I am not isolated, and that I have friends who visit. I have a very rich life, and that is something I do not take for granted. But it does mean that I have to be very aware of making sure that I have my alone time. And that can be difficult because I usually don't put myself first. Because I love to help. I love to work. I love to be readily available when someone needs me. And for the most part, I think that that works out. I think that that is who I am. I think that that's who I'm meant to be. That's just always kind of been how I have existed. But it also means I'm prone to burning the candle at both ends. And I have to be very aware of that. And I'm sure there's other people out there who like also understand this. Especially, if you're like an oldest sibling, or you grew up with like hyper productive households, hyper responsible. It's very tricky to unlearn all of that. But I also feel that when you put a name to it and when you put words to it, it does make it a bit easier to begin understanding. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish, is, that by talking about this, that I'll understand it a little bit more. In the meantime, tomorrow I would like to work on October's Patreon sketches. I'd like to work on a bit of my client work. I've got 2 long-term client projects. One is an 8-page comic and one is a 24-page comic, written by 2 other people. Well, each is written by one other person. I would also like to package Patreon mail, which thankfully I'll be able to ask my partner for help for. And I need to resize about 25 to 40 pages of my comic so that I can finally get that printed this month. And then a personal thing that I'd really love to do is I want to make some freebie stickers to hand out when me and my wife go see the Wicked musical movie towards the end of the month, because she's really gotten into that, which makes me super, super, super duper happy, because that was, and is, that's been a musical I've just deeply adored for a very long time, and having it be relevant in my life again is very exciting. And I'm so happy that I have more people to share it with now. So when we go see the movie, I really want to make some stickers and hand them out to other people at the theater as just like a fun, nice, free little thing, just to spread the joy of, loving that musical. And I'm really looking forward to that. But that also means I have to fucking lock in. I've got to fucking lock in tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. So, if you see me yapping on the internet, tell me to fuck off. Tell me to put my nose back to the grindstone. Because, oh my god, I have so much stuff to do. Alright, I'm almost done with this pile. And then, when I'm done doing laundry, I want to show you the art that I put up today that I'm really excited about. Because now that I have lived here for more than a year, I finally feel comfortable putting up more art, because I have moved like once a year for like 6 or 7 years. And they were all necessary. They were all necessary moves. Most of them, anyway. It wasn't, for fun. But now that I've lived here for over a year, I'm actually feeling inclined to, like, hanging up art and, like, finding frames for stuff and, like, decorating and making this place look a little more lived in. So I'm done folding laundry, so I'm gonna show you some art. Okay, so first off, I've hung up these gorgeous Pierce the Veil prints by my friend Alyssa, and I am so happy with the way I was able to thrift frames that like actually match the color schemes. Like I love this. That makes me so happy. And then let's see. I've also hung up some old art of mine from high school. I was like really big on like doing these like weird collages on like those painting panels that you can get at like Walmart or Michael's. So that's nice. It's fun to I've always embraced my different stages of art. Hence the painting I made when I was like 8 years old. And then this painting of Namor from Wakanda Forever, that I did a couple years ago out of pure thirst. And then I also have this Osora print from my friend Tony, who makes the webtoon Osora. She is just an absolute wonderful person, and anytime I get to talk to her at a convention, I am so happy. And last year we went to dinner together at ECC, and she's just wonderful. She deserves like everything. She's just a wonderful person, and I have one of her little convention prints that I put up in a little frame. And then let's see, what else? I put up a card from my mom, and I put it under this Dia de los Muertos wreath, just because I think that, the like monarch butterfly, it just makes sense. And let's see, what else? Oh, right. I also finally put up this collage frame of all of these different pictures of my wife. And when I showed her that I did this, she kind of like started crying a little bit, and I felt bad, but also it made me happy that like she was clearly touched by it. That made me really happy. And yeah, that's kind of... Oh. This was also like a fan I painted when I was in high school. I just hung it up with some thumbtacks. I'm a really big fan of like textures on my wall. So I just enjoy having like lots of stuff. I like stuff. I try to keep it organized. I try to keep it clean, but I like stuff. And I'm okay with that.